Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the Trillion Dollar Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is your pre-market briefing for Monday, February 9th, 2026. As we start the week, markets are transitioning out of heavy earnings volatility and back towards structure, discipline, and selectivity. This is not a reaction market. This is an interpretation market. This show is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's walk through it. Let's get into the Trillion Dollar Tickers family legacy mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I am building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have that power, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's check out Forex Factory. We don't have any notable announcements, no red or orange folders today. And then on earnings, we don't have any notable earnings until after market close. That's going to be on Semiconductor and Opendoor Technologies. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's daily law for today. The law is about discipline and skill as the deepest sources of pleasure. When you commit to developing a skill, you don't just improve your performance, you transform yourself. As your abilities grow, your sense of pleasures change. Quick distractions and easy entertainment lose their appeal. Real satisfaction comes from progress, mastery, and confidence in what you do. Boredom stops just being a signal to escape. It becomes a signal when you're ready for a greater challenge. Applying this in long-term investing, discipline is what separates compounding from speculation. The real reward doesn't come from chasing excitement. It comes from consistency, patience, and watching a well-built process work over time. As skills develop, investors stop needing constant action. They gain confidence in waiting, allocating capital carefully, and letting time do the heavy lifting. When it comes to day trading, discipline and skill redefine pleasure entirely. Early on, traders chase stimulation. With experience, satisfaction comes from clean execution, risk control, and following rules even when nothing happens. Boredom becomes a sign of maturity, not weakness. It means you no longer are addicted to action, you are prepared for precision. Today is about discipline over distraction, skill over impulse, structure over noise. Let the market come to you, respect the process, build patiently. This is Trillion Dollar Tickers. All right, so let's check out the market caps for our companies here, for our Trillion Dollar Tickers. Number one, the most valuable company in the world, NVIDIA. It has a $4.51 trillion market cap, followed by Apple, $4.08 trillion, Google, $3.9 trillion, Microsoft, $2.98 trillion, Google, Amazon, $2.25 trillion, TSM, $1.8 trillion, Meta, 1.67 trillion. AVGO, 1.57 trillion. Tesla, 1.54 trillion. Berkshire B, 1.09 trillion. And Walmart, 1.04 trillion. All right, let's check out some of these pre-market levels. Nvidia pre-market low, 182.83. Pre-market high, 185.43. Google pre-market low, 319.91. Pre-market high, 324.02. Apple pre-market low, 276.28. Pre-market high, 278.47. Microsoft pre-market low, 402.33. Pre-market high, 406.76. Amazon pre-market low, 208.25. Pre-market high, 212.40. TSM pre-market low, 345.21. Pre-market high, 350.14. AVGO pre-market low, 327.20. Pre-market high, 333.20. Meta pre-market low, 657. Pre-market high, 665.20. Tesla pre-market low, 408.52. Pre-market high, 415.46. Berkshire B pre-market low, 506.27. Pre-market high, 508.08. Walmart pre-market low, 130.51. Pre-market high, 130.95. All right, let's set up our other screen. So this is our screen that has 8 tickers on it. Starting in the top left-hand corner, we have Nvidia. To the right, we have Google, followed by Apple, and then Microsoft. Underneath Nvidia, we have Amazon. To the right, we have TSM, followed by AVGO, and Meta. This is the TradingView platform. It's free to use. Go learn how to chart, and it will be very beneficial for you. All right, let's get into some news before the market opens. All right. This is from Unusual Whales. The Nebraska legislature has approved a bill lowering Nebraska's minimum wage from $15 an hour to $13.50 an hour for young workers, and slowing down minimum wage increases for others. Ooh, that's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded right there, y'all. Y'all gonna want to move out of Nebraska. They talking about lowering the minimum wage. Are you serious? That is insane. All right, next. Waymo exec. This is from Earn Your Leisure on Twitter. Waymo executive reveals company uses remote workers in the Philippines to assist autonomous vehicles, y'all. What? What? Are you serious? Are you serious? So it's not really autonomous then. If you have remote workers outside of the country that is assisting with the vehicles, I guess they don't want to hire nobody in America to do it. But that's very interesting, Waymo, Google. That's pretty crazy. Y'all need an answer for that. All right. This next idea comes from 19 Keys. It says, don't be so distracted you're not building AI agents to help you run your business. Claude Code. Co-work is powerful. Learn to build in your terminal locally. Descript for long-form editing. Familiarize yourself with GitHub. ChatGPT Pulse for daily briefs. Higgsfield for making movies. N8N for workflows, and Vibe Code for building apps. Oh, I need to check out that Chat GPT post myself. Actually, I need to check out all these. So I'm going to save that. Just wanted to share that information with y'all. Oh, we got one more piece from 19 Keys. It says, entertainers are gods in Black America. A person can make a song and receive more reverence for cultural accreditation and more appreciation than almost anything else you can do in Black America. We treat entertainers the way civilizations are supposed to treat scientists, scholars, philosophers, and inventors. As a result, everyone is pressured to entertain their way into being valued. Expression replaces contribution. Visibility replaces substance. Ooh, that's deep. That's deep. Shout out 19. All right, some of the worst performing stocks last week were PayPal minus 23%, Robinhood minus almost 17%, Coinbase minus 15%, AppLovin minus 14%, ServiceNow minus 13%, Estee Lauder minus 13%, Oracle minus 13%, Amazon minus 12%, AMD minus 12%. Rough week in the market for those stocks, y'all. Terrible week. All right, Trump said this. He said, record stock market and national security driven by our great tariffs. I'm predicting 100,000 on the Dow by the end of my term. Remember, Trump was right about everything, and I hope the United States Supreme Court is watching. This dude is crazy. This dude is crazy, y'all. Can you believe he said that? He said 100,000. He said 100,000 on the Dow. Ain't no way. Not in 3 years. It's not gonna double. Hell no. All right, get ready. Market about to open. Market open, market open, market open. Let's go. The market is open. February 9th, 2026. 6:30 in the morning. You know we in Cali, we in the Bay Area, y'all. Market is open. Let's check out some of these prices, y'all. We put on a 1 minute chart so you can see that movement. Nvidia is up 0.25% at 185.63. Google is down 1.25% at 318.40. Oh, we got an alert on Tesla. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Apple is down almost 0.5% at 277. Microsoft is up barely, fractionally, at 401.50. Amazon is down over 2% at 305.92. TSM is barely under break even at 348.69. AVGO is up over 0.25% at 333. Meta is down almost 0.25%. It just broke even at 661.82. Tesla is barely under break even at 411. Berkshire B is down fractionally at 507.41. And Walmart is barely under break even at 131, y'all. All right, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. Let's see what we got. We are right at fear. Excuse me for that ad that just came up on the screen as I went to this website. We are right at fear at 44. We're right at the line between fear and neutral. All right, let's get into some more news. Okay. Elon Musk, he said, for those who are unaware, SpaceX has already shifted focus to building a self-growing city on the moon, as we can potentially achieve this in less than 10 years, whereas Mars would take 20 plus years. The mission of SpaceX remains the same: expand consciousness and life as we know it to the stars. It is only possible to travel to Mars when the planets align every 26 months, and it takes 6 months to get there. Whereas we can launch to the moon every 10 days, and it's only a 2-day trip. This means we can iterate much faster to complete a moon city than a Mars city. That said, SpaceX will also strive to build a Mars city and begin doing so in about 5 to 7 years. But the overriding priority is securing the future of civilization, and the moon is faster. So he said, yeah, we're going to go to Mars, but we finna focus on going to the moon. That's pretty dope. Now it seems actually more realistic. It actually seems way more realistic to me anyway. If you talking about going to Mars, bruh, come on now. I'm not even, but the moon? Alright. I actually want to take a trip. He said it's a 2-day trip. So when it's up and running, people are going to be taking vacations to the moon, y'all. Oh yeah, let me get a week off work. Let me go to the moon. You know what I mean? Come back, go back to work. That's going to be dope, y'all. That's going to be dope. Hey, if you're willing to take a trip to the moon, put a moon in the chat. All right, next we got Microsoft paid $8 million for a Super Bowl commercial to show off that Microsoft Excel has now been powered by their AI Copilot. Ooh, they dropped $8 million. They dropped $8 million on that thing. All right, next. We got some more from 19 Keys. He said, AI companies are not just spending billions on building machines. They're spending billions shaping the information environment around those machines. Our perception of AI is not neutral. It is heavily influenced by marketing budgets, press cycles, venture narratives, and institutional hype designed to justify valuation. This is why AI feels inevitable, omnipotent, and urgent. Not because it is conscious or complete, but because the story around it is aggressively funded. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's an interesting take on that. All right, let's check out the sectors, y'all. Let's see where money is flowing into and money is flowing out of. First, technology is down over 0.25% at 140.80. Consumer discretionary is down over 1% at 116.66. Communications is barely under break even at 115.70. XLF is down fractionally at 54.20. XLV is barely under break even. This is healthcare at 157.70. And XLF is financials, by the way. Next is XLP. This is consumer staples. It is down 0.25% at 87.72. XLE. This is the energy sector. It is barely over break even at 53.28. XLU, the utility sector, is down almost 0.5% at 43.18. XLI, the industrial sector, is down fractionally at 173.04. XLB, our material sector, is down fractionally at 51.46. And XLRE, the real estate sector, is down 0.25% at 41.88. So far, the worst performing sector of the day, of the week, is XLY. Our consumer discretionary is down almost 1.25%. And so far, the winner is the best performing sector is energy, y'all. It's up fractionally. So we're not giving it a cheer on that. All right, let's check out some of our other tickers we like to look at. SPX, barely over break even at 6,924. SPY, just about break even at 690.59. The NAS 100 is barely under break even at 24,995. QQQ is down 0.25% at 608.25. The Dow Jones is at, remember, Trump was talking about the Dow Jones is going to be at 100,000 in 3 years before he's out of office. Well, right now it's 49,986. I don't think it's going to be there in 3 years. Ain't no way. It's impossible. Next is the Dow Jones ETF. It's down almost 0.25% at 500. The VIX has dropped since market open, but it is still elevated. It's at 1829. The 10-year Treasury note is at 422. Gold is back over 5,000 an ounce. It's at $5,028. The gold mini is at $99.53. The silver trust is up almost 5% at $73.30. The copper miners ETF is up over 2.5% at $86.85. Bitcoin is back under 70,000. It is at 69,100. IBIT is down over 1% at 37.27. Ethereum is back over 2,000. Is currently down almost 2.5% at $2,038. BMNR is down fractionally at $20.45. AMD is up over 1% at $210.58. Palantir trying to recover. It's up almost 3% at 139. At 140. Robinhood is up almost 4% at 86.11, y'all. All right, let's get into some more news. So this is from Benjamin Crump on Twitter. He said, 10 NFL head coaching jobs opened. 0 went to black coaches. The league is 70% black players, but will enter 2026 with only 3 black head coaches out of 32 teams. The Rooney Rule was created to increase diversity, yet we are here. The numbers tell the story. This must change. Yeah, that's some bullshit, y'all. Straight up. Good job for exposing that, Ben Crump. All right, this next piece of motivation comes from Wallow267. He said, growth is lonely because it separates you from who you used to be. That's deep, Wallow. That's deep right there. Thanks for sharing that gem, Wallow. That's deep. All right, next. This is from the Financial Times on Twitter. Hong Kong's High Court has sentenced the media tycoon and pro-democracy campaigner to imprisonment in the most high-profile national security case in Beijing's crackdown on the territory. His name is Jimmy Lai, sentenced to 20 years in prison. Next. Oh, I thought this was interesting. Former New England's Patriot player Justin Herron unpacks common NFL salary misconceptions. Check it out, y'all.
Track and you're constantly getting paid. A lot of people
Hold on, let me turn it up.
think like you get your whole contract and you're constantly getting paid throughout the whole year. And it's like, no. You're getting paid for 36 weeks. And then after that, you got to make the team again and get the other part of your contract. Before 2020, players only got paid during the NFL season. Imagine you get all of your money in a span of 6 months, but then you got another 6 months that you got to budget out for. People basically going broke in the span of like 3 months after getting their last paycheck. And now after the new CBA, what they did is they extended it to 36 weeks. Teams can pay you week to week. Some teams pay you bi-weekly. Every team is different. My first paycheck was my signing bonus. I was drafted in the 6th round. I think it was like $170K. And then after taxes, it was like maybe 90 something. It was about a couple of weeks before I was able to even get my paycheck. You usually don't touch your money until you pass the physical. The first thing I did with that money was pay my parents back. The rest of it though, honestly, I just saved it. I think a lot of guys, when they get into the pros, rush into making big investments. For a lot of us, this is the first time we're going to be around this amount of money. It's always good just to kind of sit on your money for the first year.
Sit on your money for the first year.
A lot of people think like you get your whole contract.
Man, he said we got paid $170,000, but I only got 90 out of that. Goodness, almost half gone to taxes, y'all. All right, it's Black History Month, so let's get into this Black History. Carla B. Williams. College professors did not allow her inside the classroom because she was black. But that didn't stop her. She took notes from the hallway standing up. She eventually graduated at the age of 51 and lived to 108 years old and saw her 3 sons become doctors. Clara Bell Drisdale Williams, born 1885 to 1993. She was a valedictorian of the graduating class of Perry, New Normal, and Independent College, now Perry View A&M University. In 1908, she enrolled at the New Mexico College of Agriculture and Mechanic Arts in the fall of 1928, after taking some courses at the University of Chicago while she worked as a teacher at Booker T. Washington School in Las Cruces. She also took college courses during the summer. Many of her professors would not allow her inside the classroom. She had to take notes from the hallway. She was also not allowed to walk with her class to get her diploma. She married Jasper Williams in 1917. Their 3 sons became physicians. She became a great teacher of black students by day, and by night she taught their parents, former slaves, home economics. In 1961, New Mexico State University named a street on its campus after Williams. In 2005, the building of the English department was renamed the Clara Bell Williams Hall. In 1980, Williams was awarded an honorary Doctorate of Laws degree by New Mexico State University, which also apologized for the treatment she was subjected to as a student. She died at 108 years old. Phenomenal story, y'all. Clara B. Williams. You talking about making it through adversity. They didn't even let her in the classroom. She had to take notes from the hallway. And she still got it done. Yeah, man. We got it easy these days. We got it easy. And she still overcame that. Salute to this sister. Wonderful story. All right, next piece of news comes from Dan Ives. He said, we are adding Salesforce and ServiceNow to the Ives AI 30 list after taking them off in early December with the software Armageddon sell-off the last few weeks, assuming software/tech behemoths like Salesforce and ServiceNow are structurally broken. And we strongly disagree. So they're adding Salesforce and ServiceNow back to his ETF. All right, this next piece of news comes from Unusual Whales. Elon Musk says he will cover the legal defense costs for any Epstein victim who names Epstein's clients and is sued as a result. Shout out Elon for that. Shout out Elon for that. We appreciate that. Name them all. Name them all. Let's go. All right, next. This is from the Kobayashi letter. China has instructed banks to begin selling and limit purchases of U.S. government bonds amid concerns that U.S. debt may expose banks to sharp swings. They said, hold on. Sell it and stop buying it. There's too much volatility in the government bonds. That's a problem for the United States. That's definitely a problem for the United States. All right, this next piece of motivation comes from Uncle Charles. He said, this is from quoting some scripture. It says, don't trust anyone that adds to God Yahweh's words. For every word of God proves true. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar. Proverbs 30, verse 5 through 6. Shout out Uncle Charles. All right, next comes from Unusual Whales. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio has said that President Trump's policies could spark capital wars with countries and investors pulling back from U.S. assets. Capital wars. That goes right along with China selling government bonds and limiting what they're buying. That's part of it right there. All right. We got one more quote from the Bible from Uncle Charles. It says, don't follow the crowd. They may be headed to hell. For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears, they will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own passions, and will turn away from listening to the truth and wander off into the myths. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3 through 4. Don't listen to the false prophets, y'all. All right, next. This is from Unusual Whales. I thought this was very interesting. So, the Binance founder, let me just play the clip, y'all. It's a quick 30-second clip.
Would you agree that money laundering is a national security threat to this country?
Yes, sir.
Now, with Binance founder Zhao pleaded guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws and was sent to prison, Binance then injected billions of dollars into Trump's family business, World Liberty Financial, and Zhao asked for a pardon and received that. I just wanted to ask you, is that a conflict of interest in your opinion?
I am unfamiliar with any of that. I wear many hats. The pardon hat is not one of them.
Oh, I'm just asking, do you see it as a conflict of interest, though?
Again, I'm not going to respond to that.
That was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testifying on the U.S. economy. He just got questioned about the founder of Binance pleading guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws and was sent to prison. And then Binance dropped billions into Trump's family business, and then he got pardoned. Drop the bag, and you'll be able to get out of most situations, even if you're guilty. And what Besson say, I don't know nothing about it, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not going to comment on that. He not finna say nothing crazy against Trump, even though it's clear what happened. All right, next. Jack Dorsey owned Block, which used to be Square, now it's XYZ, as a ticker symbol, has been notifying hundreds of employees that their jobs may be eliminated during the annual performance reviews. Up to 10% of Block's workforce is at risk of being cut. The company had fewer than 11,000 employees as of late November. Damn. Sheesh. 10%? All right, next. This is from Peter Lynch. Far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in the corrections themselves. Ooh. That's deep, y'all. That's deep. That's deep right there. Don't try to time the market. Just stay in the market. Keep on investing. You'll be alright. Alright, next. This is from the Financial Times on Twitter. Days after Jamie Dimon ordered all staff at JP Morgan to come into the office 5 days a week, a petition surfaced at America's largest bank, urging him to reverse the plans. They said, no, we don't want to come back to the office, man. Shoot. 5 days a week? We could get this stuff done at home. Why are you making us come back to the office for what? And he like, man, we paying this rent for this big-ass building. Shit, y'all better come sit up in here. We ain't finna leave this open all the time. Nobody sitting up in here. All right. Oh, man, this is crazy right here. Check this out, y'all.
South Korea's Bitthumb crypto exchange has apologized for a $44 billion mistake after accidentally giving away 620,000 bitcoins as part of a customer reward campaign. The company said it had restricted trading and withdrawals for the 695 affected customers shortly after the error on Friday, and that it had recovered 99.7% of the bitcoins as of Saturday night. The exchange had planned to distribute small cash rewards of 2,000 Korean won, worth about $1.4 or more to each user as part of a promotional event. But instead, winners received at least 2,000 bitcoins each, media reports said. In a statement, Bitthumb said the incident was unrelated to external hacking or security breaches, and there were no problems with system security or customer asset management. But South Korea's financial regulators, including the Financial Services Commission, said the incident has exposed the vulnerabilities and risks of virtual assets. After an emergency meeting, the regulators said in a statement they would review Bitthumb and other crypto exchanges' internal control systems, as well as their holdings and operations of virtual assets. And if irregularities are found, an on-site inspection would be launched, the statement said. Bitcoin is the world's largest cryptocurrency. Charts from Bitthumb Exchange show Bitcoin prices briefly slumped 17% on Friday evening after the incident, but later recovered.
Dang. That's crazy. They accidentally gave away more than 40 billion worth of Bitcoin. Oh my goodness. Somebody get fired for that. Somebody get fired for that. How you accidentally gave away 40 billion? Damn. I wonder. They said they got back like 95% of it. But shoot, one Bitcoin, that's what, 70 racks right now. All right, next. This is from Aristotle Investments. He said, discipline is the hardest part about trading. Once you learn a high probability setup or multiple high probability setups, now you got to learn how to trust them, trust your targets, and stay disciplined while doing it. Yes, sir. Shout out Aristotle, y'all. All right, let me run the numbers. Y'all. $1 trillion tickers. Where we at? Nvidia's up over 3%. 190, 119. Google is down 0.5% at 321. Apple is down 1.5% at 274. Microsoft is up 1.5% at 407. Amazon is down 2.5% at 204. TSM is up 2% at 355. AVGO is up 1.25% at 336.97. Meta is down fractionally at 660.50. Tesla is down fractionally at 410.37. Berkshire B is down over 1% at 502.64. Walmart is down 0.5% at 130.41. Let's check out some of these ETFs that we like to look at. The Russell 2000 is down almost 0.5% at 264. SPYM is down barely under break even at 81.26. QQQM is barely under break even at 250.79. SPYG is up almost 0.5% at 105.43. SOXQ is up almost 0.5% at 63.63. TQQQ is down almost 0.5% at 50.40. SOXL is up 1% at 62.33. SOXX is up 0.25% at 349.75. XLG is up fractionally at 58.39. The IVES 30 is up 1% at 30.75. SPYI is up barely over break even at 52.73. And QQQI is barely under break even at 53.04, y'all. Still holding? Yes, I am still holding. SPX barely over break even at 6,930. SPY barely over break even at 690. The last 100 up fractionally at 25,030. QQQ down fractionally at 609. The Dow Jones is down 0.25% at 49,933. Dow Jones ETF is down 0.25% at 499.48. The VIX is at 1820. Gold is at $5,039 an ounce. The gold ETF mini is at $99.74. Silver is up over 5% at 73.86. The copper miners ETF is up 3% at 87.24. Bitcoin is at 69,466. iBit is at 39.45. Ethereum is at 2,054. BMNR is at 20.74. AMD is up 3% at 214.65. Palantir is up 3% at 140.12. And Robinhood is up 3.5% at 85.85, y'all. All right, so that's it. That's it for today's show. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you found it insightful, and I'm keeping you up to date on what's going on in the market. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. We'll be back tomorrow in the pre-market at 6:15. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.